Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. मैं 2-3 दिन से इस वीडियो के लिए रिसर्च कर रही थी. This is period education for men and women. मेरी रिसर्च कहती है और मेरे actual like I've actually talked to people around me, my friends, the guys I know, even the girls, and asked them about the guys in their family and their friend circle and everything. How little do boys know about periods, and it's totally not their fault because उनको कभी किसी ने सिखाया ही नहीं. पीरियड्स के बारे में सारी पढ़ाई और डिस्कशन एंड वर्कशॉप्स आर डन जब लड़के बाहर कोई स्पोर्ट्स खेलने जा रहे हैं या when the guys are somewhere like not in the classroom, and it is only given to women because women are the only ones who are gonna experience it. But when you come to think about it, periods is not only about those 5-6 days of bleeding. It is a 28-day menstrual cycle. So globally, 2.3 billion people lack basic sanitation services, and 500 million women and girls don't have the things they need to manage their periods safely and hygienically. Think in this time when this is the human rights issue, or actually in any time, men have an equal role in understanding menstruation as women do, and schools and institutions should teach both of them about what menstruation is. कई बार आपके बेटे से कोई ये बोलेगा कि तुम लड़की की तरह क्यों रो रहे हो, या कैसे खेल रहा है, किक कैसे कर रहा है स्पोर्ट्स में, लड़की है क्या? उसको जवाब देना आना चाहिए कि लड़की होना एक्चुअल में होता क्या है. For that very reason, I'm making this video. I'm going to tell you what I'm sorry nobody else till now has explained to you. How much do men, according to research, know about menstruation, and why it is a bad thing that they don't know about it? Firstly, 72% of boys have never been taught anything about the menstrual cycle. More than 1 in 3 boys think that periods should be kept a secret. In a survey of 4,127 boys and young men, the most common reason cited for avoiding the topic of menstruation is that it's a private matter for girls and women. Respondents aged between 16 to 25 also admitted they frequently associate periods with words such as dirty, embarrassing, and disgusting. See why it is important for boys and men to know about periods? Because these guys and these men are so ignorant to talk about periods like this because nobody ever educated them about what is the actual reality and what is periods and what is menstruation और menstruation होती क्यों है. इनको किसी ने सिखाया ही नहीं है because menstruation is the only way life is created. If menstruation never happened, none of us would have been born, none of us would have seen the face of earth. 7 in every 10 boys said they have seen another boy or man make a negative or nasty comment about periods. In the Netherlands, there was a study. 1 in every 4 disgusting or nasty comments regarding periods were made by a male teacher. In Indonesia, more than half, which is 58% of those surveyed, do not think girls and women can go to school or work while menstruating. In Uganda, more than half, which is 55% of the respondents, said they do not think it is acceptable for a girl to remain unmarried after her first period. And I want to tell you the age that girls get their first period, it's literally something around 11 to 12 years. And the miseducation about periods is leading these people to say that a woman should get married after their first period. Even in India, according to research, there are a lot of cities and states which believe that as soon as a girl gets their period, they should get married. This is promoting child marriage, and that is why I tell you menstruation is a human rights issue in today's time. There are more than 5,000 euphemisms in the world to refer to periods because people are too ashamed to say periods itself. All of this sprout from lack of education. Giving you like a really small sect of facts out of the billions of facts you could find regarding this issue, just to shed some light on the issue of lack of education regarding periods for men. imagine पूरी दुनिया में कितनी ज़्यादा lack of education की वजह से stigmatization is getting worse and worse. This is more to address the social issue, period stigmatization, that even though मैं एक बहुत privileged family से हूँ, even I have seen it in my house in some way or the other. Miss की दुकान से, when you go to get a bag of sanitary napkins, they usually put it in a black packet. Why? Like, it always struck my mind, why are they putting it in a black packet? Why am I supposed to be ashamed and hide that I have bought sanitary napkins? Do you guys know that in India, the biggest one of the most famous sanitary pad company, which is Whisper, it's literally called Whisper, like it's something to be ashamed about, something you shouldn't talk about loudly. Do you understand the intensity these little things make, these intense subconscious underlying biases and stereotypes these little things make? Even in my house, like, I remember as a kid, like, I once found like a pad ka bahar ka, the packet covering of the pad, and I thought it's like an envelope. So I took it and I went and I'm like, oh mama, what is this? And she's like, oh my god, no, don't. Like, she instantly like took it from me and like threw it and like hid it somewhere. Maybe that's what I was for hygiene reasons, but there was this certain like shame associated with it. I was in middle school in India and we have to go to the washroom to change a pad. I saw girls hiding their pad in their pocket or in middle of a book or in like their inside their shirt. Like, it's something to hide from boys or from other people, or from, it's just something to be ashamed of when it is something very normal. Explain to you what the hormones do to us. Let's start. And you have really low estrogen. Estrogen is one of the hormones. I'm going to refer to different hormones. You can Google and study more about them. But all you need to know, for understanding what I'm talking about, is what exactly this hormone does. So when estrogen is low in a woman's body, we feel fatigued, we feel like we have no energy, feel like we can't do anything, and we get uterine contractions, which are like really, really strong and intense cramps, which a lot of doctors from a lot of renowned hospitals have said are equivalent to the pain of a heart attack. When your period ends, then your energy starts rising slowly, because the estrogen is increasing again. You start to feel better, you start to feel upbeat, you start to feel like, oh, everything's getting better, everything feels so much better. And then from day 6 to 9, you have we get higher estrogen. Your face gets more symmetrical, you're glowing, so you obviously feel good. Testosterone is also high. Testosterone is also a hormone present in men, but it's also there in women in some quantity, lesser than men obviously. And during this time, day 6 to 9, your testosterone is also a bit like higher, and you're basically on top of your game. You are feeling good, you are looking. Days 10 to 13. Days 10 to 13 is when your estrogen is at its peak. It's like you are like this is the best time. Like, this is when your mood is the best, and this is when you're feeling like everything's amazing, everything's perfect, you're looking good, your skin's glowing, no acne. In reproductive terms, the most fertile in this time are ovulating, releases an egg, and if it is not fertilized, and it dissolves. And that is when your mood starts to suddenly change. It's like a sudden bang, and it's just changing. Everything's just like, you were so happy, you're so excited, your skin looked amazing, you were fantastic, and suddenly you're just like, oh, I hate everything. I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to college. I don't want to do anything. Oh my god, I don't have the energy to get up. I don't have energy to talk to anyone. I'm like, it's like a sudden 360 change with the emotions, your everything, because suddenly your hormones change, because the egg has been not fertilized and it's going to be released, which means your periods are coming. 15 to 18. Your emotions may get really intensified, and you may get really tired, and your estrogen is completely dropping, and your progesterone, which is another hormone, is hiking up. So when progesterone is hiking up, you get excess oil production in your skin glands, and you are more likely to have breakouts. And if you are like me and you already have acne prone skin, all of your acne comes out to the surface. 325 of the menstrual cycle, this is when the progesterone is extremely high. This can cause bloating, called PMS, which is the premenstrual syndrome. PMS is the phase when everything is suddenly changing and going around. This is right before the periods. It's before the periods, like every set of symptoms that happen to a woman. This is called PMS. And you're PMSing, and guess what? The whole cycle all over again. Like, has different set of symptoms that happen to them. Like for me, it's lower back pain is very intense. Like when I'm in my PMS, I sometimes get migraines where my head will not stop hurting for 2 days. Some of the known symptoms are abdominal or pelvic cramping, pain, and then you have lower back pain, you have bloating, and you have sore breasts, and then you have food cravings, you have mood swings and irritability. Very, very understandable once you understand क्यों इतना mood swings होते हैं लड़कियों को या women, is because we have so many hormones changing. Imagine constantly your hormones are going up and down and changing in the 360. एक दिन में सब बदल जाता है. Obviously you're gonna be, you're gonna have mood swings. The cycle usually doesn't stop until you're like 50, 51, which is called the menopause. On average, a woman menstruates for 7 years of her whole life. So, there are these countries that I've read about where men are compulsory to go to the military for 2 years or so. And in these countries, men really hate feminism and really hate talking about women's rights because they're like, oh my god, women don't need to go to the military while we do. But do you think about it? You are sacrificing maybe 1 or 2 years of your life, but a woman is menstruating total on an average for 7 years of her life. How do you understand why women have more emotional intensity and why it is wrong for you to say कि लड़की की तरह क्यों रो रहा है? 1 महीना भी periods से जाओगे या go through those cramps that all literally feel like heart attack as a man, do you think you will be able to take it? Being a woman is easy? Well, and we still have to fight for our equality and our equal rights and do it all, right? I'm not saying we are victims or we are, weak or anything. I'm just saying that, do you realize how strong your mom, your daughter, your sister, or every woman in your life is? That if you're anemic, like I have anemia, but if you're anemic, your heavy periods are unlikely to cease and you risk losing more and more precious blood cells. Faced any drastic symptoms or heavy periods because of my anemia, but there are so many underlying conditions that can, in hand with periods, really affect your health. And period pain can affect cognitive functions and attention span of a person. It can affect your head. Now let's talk about menstruation as a human rights issue. This is the most important part of this video. Menstruation is stigmatized all over the world, guys. Even the most urbanized and privileged areas still have menstrual stigmatization. Menstruation is a really normal and a healthy part of a woman's life. Lack of information about menstruation leads to damaging misconceptions and discrimination and cause girls to miss out on normal childhood experiences and activities. Stigma, taboos, and myths prevent adolescent girls and boys from the opportunity to learn about menstruation and develop healthy habits. Globally, like I told you, 2.3 billion people lack basic sanitation services, and in the least developed countries, the LDCs, there's only 27% of population that has a hand washing facility and water and soap at home. Now, what would these people have to maintain their period hygiene? This concept is referred to as period poverty. I will put over here, please look, how much a pad costs in India. And India everything is not as expensive as other countries, so you can have an idea. In India, the urban areas, their monthly poverty line is 1,286 rupees and for rural areas it's 1059 rupees. And this is per family, guys. Imagine if a pad is gonna cost you 500 rupees, तुम अपने पूरे महीने के खर्चे में से आधे पैसे, why would you take it out to buy pads? And most families don't, and that's why they stigmatize periods, and they associate with like having a girl is too expensive, and that is really not how it should be, right? Period sanitary products should be free for women, because this is a basic fundamental right of every woman to be hygienic. 500 million women who cannot have the basic things such as sanitary napkins, tampons, they can't even have that, let alone having painkillers for the other PMSing symptoms, or having a hot bag to relieve from their cramps. And like according to the UNICEF article that I read, it also says that men have played a critical role in sustaining taboos and stigmas over centuries. Men now have the responsibility to step up and help ending it by speaking openly and respectfully about menstruation, by acting as allies and providing support to the women and girls around them. Look, I know that you're probably like, not every guy, I know all those things, but I'm saying that there have been men throughout history who have stigmatized this very normal process, and due to which in this current present there are many people out there, many women out there who are suffering. So as men of today who are more responsible, who are more well raised, more well taught, more well educated, it is your duty to know about this, and it is your duty to talk about it openly. It only stops becoming a taboo or a myth or a stigma if we take an initiative. And saying the word periods is normal. The chemist does not need to put up every time. Next time you see a chemist putting a black bag for a period bag, stop him and tell him why. What is so dirty, or what is worth hiding in this? This is normal. This is how you were born, and this is how I was born. Next time somebody uses being a girl and being emotional as an insult to a man in front of you, stop him. Menstrual Hygiene Day is on May 28th. It's a practice that happens in Nepal. Not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's called Chaupadi. It happens in mid-western regions of Nepal. Is a stark example of detrimental impacts of menstrual stigma. This is where like you really see the effect of lack of education. In this traditional practice, menstruating women and girls are considered polluted, impure, and untouchable. They are denied entry to houses, kitchens, and temples, and at night they have to sleep outside their homes, often in animal sheds. They are barred from using public water sources and are not allowed to touch men, children, and cattle or fruit-bearing trees. They cannot consume milk products and are not allowed to participate in religious and social activities. Superstitions run deep as violations of this traditional practice and expected to incite misfortune such as death, disease, crop failure, and water shortages. Now, when I read this, I really didn't believe this. Like, it makes me teary because I cannot believe there are women out there facing this, and it's just so upsetting. And one of my best friends is from Nepal, and I spoke to her about it. I'm like, do you think this is really happening? Even though they said that in 2005 in Nepal Supreme Court this practice was banned as a human rights violation. State authorities have been running public awareness campaigns, but she told me that it still happens, and she has been friends with someone who went through something like this, where they were locked in their room during their periods with the phone to communicate with their parents. And how upsetting, sad, and absurd this is. Men were educated and told, and all those women also were educated and told that periods are normal. You don't need to go to this extent. There were cases of girls, like when they were outcasted in these animal sheds, like one girl tried to keep herself warm, so she lit a fire, and that fire burned the entire shed and she died. 50 elite female athletes that have joined this campaign, which is #SayPeriods, because during their like sports journey they did experience the fact that people are not okay with openly saying periods, and a lot of teams have changed their uniform colors from white to darker colors because of the fear of period stain. Adidas survey in 2021 reports 1 in 4 girls dropped out of sport with the fear of period leakage as a key reason. The stigmatization is so bad that a period stain, a blood stain, can make a girl give up her dream. We have to make sure our society doesn't go that direction where a girl has to give up her dream for something so normal. Majorly discussed a lot of facts today that I researched and I shared with you. But like the main message from this video that I want you to take as a man or as a guy or as a boy or as a kid, like I just want you to know that periods, the reason we go through periods every month is so that we can create life as women. And pregnancy and childbirth are other really painful and really hard things to go through, and periods is literally a non-stop preparation for those things. And all of this is the only way you, me, or any human being on this planet was able to come into this world and enjoy life. So as a man, please understand that if menstruation is impure, so is your birth and so are you. So please don't associate menstruation with impurity. It is not impure. Menstruation does not mean a woman is ganda or polluted or impure, because अगर वो impure है तो आपका birth impure है और जहाँ से आप निकले वो impure है और आप impure हो. Please understand that. Main point is period poverty is very much out there in the world, and as privileged human beings जिनके पास 3 टाइम खाना खाने के पैसे हैं हमारे पास और एक अच्छी लाइफ जीने के पैसे हैं, उनमें से कुछ निकाल कर हम इन लोगों की मदद कर सकते हैं. Stigmatization toward a girl child birth and all that, and the period expenses play a huge role in that. There are many initiatives that have tried to create cheaper pads, but those pads are not available in every single chemist shop as far as I've seen. So I just want you to do as much as you can to help these girls, these little girls and these women to have a hygienic and a clean period. ना maintain करने से a lot of serious health issues can happen, and a lot of serious infections can happen. As human beings living this planet, sharing this planet with many other humans, it is our duty to normalize such things and make a more beautiful world where a little girl doesn't have to feel ashamed and scared to talk about the fact that she's going through the most normal part of being a woman. Time somebody says कि लड़की जैसे ऐसे क्यों कर रहा है, लड़की जैसे रो क्यों रहा है,